Have you ever been told your blood work looks mostly fine, yet deep down you still feel tired, swollen, or off? And you can't explain why? What if I told you that for millions of people, kidney damage doesn't begin with pain, warnings, or hospital visits, but quietly inside a body that feels normal until it suddenly isn't? I'm Mark Ellis, and I need you to understand something urgent right now. Your kidneys can lose a significant portion of their function long before you feel a single symptom. No sharp pain, no alarms, just silent strain day after day while toxins, blood sugar spikes, and inflammation slowly wear down the filters that keep you alive. That's why so many people are shocked when they hear words like elevated creatinine protein in the urine or worse, early kidney disease. By the time those numbers show up, the damage didn't just start. It's been building quietly for years. But here's the part most people never hear. Supporting your kidneys isn't always about aggressive treatments or extreme detoxes. Sometimes it starts with something far simpler, everyday foods that reduce inflammation, lower toxin load, and take pressure off your kidneys before irreversible damage occurs. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 powerful beans that do exactly that, not overnight, not magically, but in a way your kidneys actually understand and respond to. And if you stay with me, you'll hear real patient stories that reveal why these small changes became turning points long before dialysis was ever part of the conversation. Because when it comes to kidney health, the most dangerous damage is the kind you never feel coming. And the most powerful protection often begins with what you choose to put on your plate today. After understanding how quietly kidney damage builds up, the next question becomes unavoidable. What actually helps the kidneys slow that damage down before it's too late? This is where the first bean comes in, and it's one most people overlook because it seems too simple to matter. Black beans don't look dramatic, but inside that dark skin is one of the strongest natural defenses your kidneys have against silent inflammation. One of the fastest ways kidneys lose function is through oxidative stress, tiny chemical attacks that slowly scar the delicate filters responsible for cleaning your blood. Black beans are rich in anthocyanins, the same antioxidant compounds studied for their role in protecting blood vessels and reducing inflammatory damage at the cellular level. But the real advantage goes even deeper. Unlike animal protein, which forces the kidneys to work harder and increases acid load, the plant-based protein and soluble fiber in black beans actually reduce the filtration burden. Fiber traps waste in the gut before it ever reaches the bloodstream, meaning fewer toxins for your kidneys to process in the first place. For kidneys already under strain, that difference matters. I once worked with a patient, let's call him Daniel, who felt mostly fine but had rising creatinine and swelling around his ankles by evening. His diet was heavy in meat, light on fiber, and his kidneys were quietly paying the price. When he began replacing several meals a week with black beans as a protein base, something unexpected happened. Within months, his lab values stabilized, the swelling eased, and for the first time, his decline stopped instead of accelerating. Studies consistently show that diets higher in plant protein and soluble fiber are associated with slower kidney function decline, better blood sugar control, and reduced inflammatory markers, all key factors in protecting the nephron units that cannot regenerate once they're lost. And here's the part most people miss. Black beans don't heal the kidneys overnight. What they do is far more powerful. They remove constant pressure, giving the kidneys space to protect what function remains. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because there's another factor that damages kidneys even faster than inflammation, and most people never see it coming. And this is where the story shifts, because even if inflammation is reduced, many kidneys continue to decline. For one simple reason, they're constantly overheated and overloaded without anyone realizing it. This is where the second bean quietly changes everything. Mung beans, also known as green gram, work on a different axis of kidney stress, internal heat, dehydration, and toxin buildup. When kidneys are under pressure, they become extremely sensitive to fluid balance. Even mild dehydration or excess metabolic waste can trigger irritation in the urinary tract and accelerate microscopic damage inside the filters. Mung beans have been shown to support gentle diuresis, meaning they help the body release excess sodium and uric acid without forcing the kidneys into overdrive. This matters because aggressive detox foods can actually worsen kidney strain. What mung beans do instead is cool the system, stabilize fluid balance, and reduce inflammatory signaling that quietly worsens kidney injury. I remember a patient, Maria, who struggled with frequent burning during urination and persistent fatigue. Her labs weren't catastrophic, but uric acid was creeping up, and early protein leakage had begun. She assumed it was just stress or age. When she introduced cooked mung beans several times a week paired with proper hydration, the change wasn't dramatic overnight, but it was consistent. The discomfort faded, her energy improved, and follow-up tests showed reduced urinary irritation markers. From a scientific standpoint, mung beans are rich in polyphenols and resistant starch compounds linked to improved insulin sensitivity and reduced oxidative stress. Better blood sugar control alone significantly lowers kidney workload because glucose spikes are one of the fastest ways to damage delicate glomerular structures over time. But here's what makes mung beans especially important. They help the kidneys release pressure instead of trapping it inside. Cooling, flushing gently, and restoring balance allows kidney tissue to function in a calmer metabolic environment, something medications alone often fail to achieve. But understanding hydration and internal heat still isn't enough, because there's another silent driver of kidney damage that's even more dangerous, and it hides inside everyday blood sugar and blood pressure swings most people ignore. And once inflammation is lowered and internal heat is brought back into balance, there's one final pressure point that determines whether kidneys stabilize or continue to decline silently. That pressure point is blood sugar and blood pressure instability, and this is where the third bean plays a critical role. Red kidney beans work where kidney damage often accelerates the fastest metabolic stress. Every spike in blood sugar and every surge in blood pressure sends a shock wave through the tiny blood vessels that feed the kidneys. Over time, those repeated spikes weaken the filtration barrier, allowing protein to leak into the urine and forcing the kidneys to work harder just to keep up. Red kidney beans are exceptionally high in soluble fiber and resistant starch, which slow glucose absorption and blunt post-meal blood sugar spikes. That matters more than most people realize. Research consistently shows that even modest improvements in glycemic control can significantly reduce the rate of kidney function decline, especially in people over 45. I worked with a patient named Robert, a longtime delivery driver, who blamed his leg swelling and fatigue on long hours behind the wheel. His blood pressure fluctuated daily, and his blood sugar hovered just below the diabetic range. When red kidney beans replaced refined carbs in his meals a few times a week, the effect wasn't just metabolic, it was physical. The swelling eased, his energy stabilized, and his follow-up labs showed improved markers tied to kidney stress. Nutritionally, red kidney beans also provide magnesium and folate nutrients linked to improved vascular function. Healthier blood vessels mean better oxygen delivery to kidney tissue. And when kidneys receive steady blood flow instead of constant pressure surges, they're far more capable of preserving function. What makes this bean different is that it doesn't just reduce damage, it prevents the next wave of injury from happening at all. By calming blood sugar swings and supporting vascular stability, red kidney beans help create an environment where the kidneys aren't constantly bracing for impact. But even knowing which foods support the kidneys still isn't enough, because how you prepare them and how you use them can quietly determine whether they protect your kidneys or make things worse. And before everything comes together, there's one detail that quietly determines whether these beans become a support for your kidneys or an unintended burden. It's not just what you eat, it's how you prepare and use it. Beans are powerful, but only when they're treated with respect. When they're rushed, undercooked, or eaten in excess, they can create digestive stress, electrolyte imbalance, and unnecessary workload for kidneys that are already vulnerable. That's why soaking, slow cooking, and proper portions matter far more than most people realize. These steps reduce anti-nutrients, improve mineral absorption, and make the nutrients easier for your body and your kidneys to handle. I've seen patients do everything right on paper, yet still feel bloated, fatigued, or discouraged because no one explained this part. Once they adjusted preparation and portions, the benefits finally showed up, not as a dramatic overnight change, but as steady energy, less swelling, and more stable lab results over time. From a physiological standpoint, consistency beats intensity every time. Kidneys respond best to gentle, repeated signals that reduce pressure, not extreme swings that force them to adapt too fast. That's why these foods work when they're used as part of a rhythm, not a rescue. And when you step back and look at the bigger picture, reducing inflammation, cooling internal stress, stabilizing blood sugar, and respecting how the body processes food, you start to see something important taking shape. Because kidney protection isn't about one miracle food, it's about creating the conditions where healing is finally allowed to happen. Before you move on, I want you to hear this clearly. If you're watching this video, it means you care about your health, your future, or someone you love. And that already puts you ahead of where most kidney damage begins, in neglect and silence. You don't need extreme cleanses or fear-based decisions. What your kidneys respond to best are small, consistent choices that reduce pressure, calm inflammation, and give them space to function instead of constantly fighting damage. Choosing the right foods, preparing them properly, staying hydrated, and paying attention early can make a real difference, especially before symptoms ever appear. If this information helped you see your kidney health more clearly, save this video so you can come back to it when you need a reminder. And subscribe to the channel because I share practical, evidence-based medical insights like this regularly, designed to help you protect your kidneys before problems become permanent. Most importantly, don't lose hope. Kidneys are resilient when they're supported early and treated with patience. What you do today still matters, and the right knowledge can change the direction of your health more than you realize. Take care of yourself, take care of your kidneys, and I'll see you in the next video.